What's up, you guys? It's Jackson here. So when you're looking on iRacing at what tracks to buy, there are a lot of different options to choose from, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, particularly when you're starting out, because they're about $15 a piece, and if you want to go and buy like 25 tracks, it's going to be a massive expense. So I thought it might be helpful to go over some of the best value tracks on iRacing, the tracks that get the most participation, they get put in the most schedules, so that you can make a good decision as to what tracks you want to buy next. So today we're going over the top 10 best value tracks on iRacing, starting with number 10, which is Brands Hatch. Now, Brands Hatch is a great, small, old-school British racetrack. You're going to get two configurations of Brands Hatch. You're going to get the Grand Prix track, which is the one you'll use more often than not, as well as the Indy track, which is a short sort of ball ring of a circuit. Now, you're going to use Brands Hatch a lot, particularly through D class and C class. Probably won't see it so much once you start moving up into the faster cars, particularly up the sports cars. You don't typically see Brands Hatch so much there, but it's a really great circuit for the more junior formula, so your sort of advanced Master Carb, USF 2000, Formula Renault, Skid Barber. Your cars like that, you're going to get a lot of use out of Brands Hatch, so that comes in at number 10. Now coming in at number 9 is another great British racetrack, and that is none other than Silverstone. Now, iRacing have just recently released the new version of Silverstone, finally, and this is a great buy because you're going to use it all the way through, maybe D class, but particularly C class, all the way up to A class, Formula 1, GT3, GTE, LMP2, Formula Renault, anything like that has a little bit of power. Silverstone is a great racetrack for it, so it comes in at number 9. Now coming in at number 8, another great Grand Prix track, and that is Barcelona, or Catalunya as you might know it. And this is another newish track to iRacing and a fantastic value racetrack because you're going to use it again all the way through D, C class in particular, all the way up to Formula 1 in A class, and it's sort of the epitome of European circuits. It's just the classic Formula 1 venue, obviously the Formula 1 testing venue for many years, and it's just a track that's going to be used in schedules all throughout iRacing for a long time to come. I don't see this track going anywhere, so I would say grab this track now and you're going to get a lot of value out of it over the next 5 or so years. Coming in at number 7, best value track, and this one's a little bit surprising perhaps. This is Interlagos. Now the reason I say this is surprising is because while Interlagos is placed on a lot of schedules, particularly IMSA, Le Mans Series, you're going to race it a fair bit. What's really interesting is that the participation when you get to Interlagos week, it's actually fairly low. There could be a few reasons for this. I think first and foremost, it's quite a tricky track, it's quite twisty. It's fairly short for a Grand Prix circuit, but it is challenging to really get the most out of the car. You're quite easy to burn your front tyres because you have a lot of sort of slow, twisty, longish corners. It's a real challenging racetrack, but it is placed on quite a lot of schedules, and for that reason it comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, and we have our first American track on the list, and that is the classic sports car venue of Sebring. Now Sebring is a little bit tricky to learn at first, but once you get your head around it, it is a cool racetrack, very bumpy, very old school, but you will get a lot of use out of it. Obviously home of the 12 Hours of Sebring, so if you're interested in endurance racing, special events, you're going to get the opportunity to race at that race in March every year, as well as it being placed in Le Mans Series, IMSA, and a bunch of lower series as well. Despite being fairly long, it does have a few different configurations, a few shorter configurations. They are rarely used. They're used from time to time, but typically you'll be using the full Sebring track, but it's a good quality racetrack that does get used quite a fair bit. Alright, so now we're into the top 5 best value tracks on iRacing. Before we jump into this, just drop a comment down below which track you think is going to be number 1. See if you can guess right. So number 5 is Road Atlanta. Now this is a really, really cool racetrack, one of my favourite tracks on iRacing. The first section of quarters is incredible. It's blind, it's super fast, and this is just a roller coaster of a racetrack. So if for no other reason than for having fun and hot lapping, I would say grab Road Atlanta. But great news is that it's used in a lot of different schedules as well. It's sort of long enough to be used in sports car schedules, but short enough to be used in sort of lower formula schedules as well. And it's just a great racetrack that you will get a lot of value out of. The racing here is typically a lot of fun, although crashes can happen because it is quite a challenging racetrack, obviously. Now, coming in at number 4 is Monza, the Temple of Speed. Now, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this place. I've had some of the best races of my iRacing career at Monza, and I've also had a bunch of races where I'd make it about one corner before the race ends. Monza is obviously extremely popular, it's well renowned, and it gets used all throughout the different license levels on iRacing. One thing you need to be aware of at Monza is it seems to create carnage race after race after race, particularly at turn 1. That's a real danger spot on the opening lap. There's always chaos there, and just all throughout the race, actually, Monza can be a lot of carnage. So just be prepared for that when you do buy a Monza, but it is a great racetrack, and if you're going to want to race full schedules, Monza's a track that you're going to have to buy sooner or later. So into the top 3 now, and coming in at number 3, we have Road America. This is just a great old school American racetrack. It's nice and long, so you get to use it in sort of IndyCar, GT cars, sports cars, Formula Renault. You get a whole lot of use out of this. You will see it in Fast Master Cup and things like that as well. It's just a great quality racetrack. There's not really too much else to say about that. It's popular, a lot of people own it, and it's just a great fun place to go racing. Coming in at number 2, a track that always gets lots and lots of participation, that is Watkins Glen. Now you get a couple of different configurations of this one. You get the Cup layout, which just sort of goes through the bus stop and then around back to the main straight, and you also get the Boost layout, or traditionally the IndyCar layout, the sports car layout is the blue one, and that sort of goes off to the left after the bus stop and around. You also get a historic version without the bus stop on the back straight. But Watkins Glen is an awesome racetrack, really popular, and it creates really good motor racing. And over the years I've tried to understand what's so good about Watkins Glen, and actually the conclusion I've come to is that it's just quite difficult to overtake. You can sort of get a move down the inside into turn 1, but that's not easy. You run up to the bus stop, you get a big slipstream, but it's sort of tricky to get 2 cars side by side through there. And so what you find happening is you sort of get a pack of cars together, and they just stay there for like 45 minutes. You can just stay in a train, and while that might not sound fun on paper, when you're in the middle of that pack, that's super intense, trying to find a way past. It's a lot of fun, creates awesome racing, and I would really recommend grabbing Watkins Glen. Now coming in at number 1, the best value track on iRacing. If you're only going to buy one track today, grab this one right away, no surprise. It's Spa-Francorchamps, the classic, one of the best racetracks in the world. It's used all the way from D class and skip up, or all the way up to A class in the Grand Prix series. Look, just do yourself a favour, go out, buy yourself Spa, because you're going to get to use it season after season after season. This track is not going anywhere. It's up to date. It's a lot of fun. It gets incredible participation. Just buy Spa. Just buy Spa. It's a great racetrack and you won't regret it. Well, there we have it, the top 10 best value tracks on iRacing based on participation. What do you think? Did I miss anything? Drop a comment down below. Let me know which tracks you would include in your top 10 best value tracks. Also, let me know what your favourite track is to go racing on iRacing. Otherwise, that's it from me today. If you want to catch more of these iRacing tips, tricks, track guides, and full races, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss a thing. Otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic day, whatever that looks like for you. And until next time, bye for now.